Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday afternoon, December 4th. We're now entering week 7 of Political Science 1013 on the second 8-week schedule for the fall term of 2022. All right everybody, we've gotten through exam 3. Of course, we're on a compressed schedule. We've got 10 or 12 class days to get the final exam material in, which of course would be Units 7 and 8 on the Supreme Court and Congress, respectively. Everybody, what we have left are one more discussion, our third out of 3 discussions. You need to have taken part in at least 2 out of 3. The final exam and term papers for anyone who plans to be submitting one. Now, I should be getting out the final exam announcement today or tomorrow. I anticipate it will be available for 48 hours, the 13th and 14th, give or take a day or 2. Okay. Now, the material will be Units 7 and 8. And once again, for every exam, we've assigned 3 or 4 readings specific to each exam. So those will be included in the announcement and the email that you will receive scheduling that exam. Okay. Everybody, I haven't heard from much of anybody on term papers. Remember, a term paper is not required, but it can help raise your grade. We're getting a little late in the day for this. It's the 4th. I would like to have any papers by the 15th. Grades are due on Sunday the 18th, so if I can have them by Thursday the 15th, I can take that Friday and Saturday to go through them, get grades on them, and get grades turned in by Sunday the 18th. If something comes in that Friday or Saturday, I can look at it if absolutely necessary, but I would like to have them, if possible, by Thursday the 15th for any of you who are thinking of doing one of those. And if you want to try to throw one of those together, it's kind of getting close to the last minute, but please contact me if you have a topic in mind. All right, so we have the final exam next week. We have term papers for anyone who would like to submit one. We have one last discussion that we've scheduled, I believe, for Tuesday through Thursday, the 6th through the 8th, beginning in just a couple of days. And this is related to the Unit 7 material on the Supreme Court, and in particular, the Dobbs decision, Dobbs versus the Jackson Women's Health Organization from really just a few weeks ago now, back in the late spring, early summer. Of course, overturning the decision from back in the 1970s in the Roe versus Wade decision, which at that time had legalized abortion, but that now has been overturned. So you're asked to look at a couple of short readings and discuss whether you think the Supreme Court did the right thing. Remember, try to get in 2 posts between Tuesday and Thursday. And that'll be our third and final discussion of the term. Please make sure you've taken part in 2 of the 3, 50 points each for a 100-point grade. All right, so we have that, the final exam, and any term papers any student would like to submit. Let me say this very quickly about the Unit 7 and 8 material, and perhaps I'll have a bit more to say about Unit 8 next week. In Unit 7, what we try to do is we talk about the federal courts in general. There are district courts, circuit courts of appeal, and the Supreme Court. Most of what we're interested in for Unit 7 is, of course, the Supreme Court. We talk a little bit about how the Supreme Court does its business, the cases it does and does not take, concepts of majority, dissenting, and concurring opinions. We spend a good deal of time on what I call the politics of the Supreme Court. The fact that they're supposed to be jurists, not politicians, but in recent times, just about every time we've had a vacancy on the Supreme Court, it has become highly politically contentious. And that is due to the issue of abortion, among other things. We also discuss ways in which the Supreme Court can be checked and balanced, which is very difficult to do, but it can be done. There is pushback against the Supreme Court. We end up discussing 4 landmark Supreme Court decisions: Brown versus Board, Citizens United, Obergefell, and we did include Roe versus Wade, but now that has been superseded by Dobbs versus the Jackson Women's Health Organization, and there's quite a bit of material about that to wind up the class notes for Unit 7. Then Unit 8 covers Congress. I'll try to say a bit more about that next week. Let me very quickly run through what we try to cover in Unit 8 on Congress. We talk about the kinds of people who do and do not serve in Congress. And as part and parcel of that, I want to try to get everybody clear on who represents them in Congress. We mentioned several of the members in Oklahoma and the states surrounding Oklahoma from which OPSU draws students. Now, one or two of these will be changing. Most of them will not. Okay. The member from eastern Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullen, if any of you are from out there, is now going to be United States Senator. He is succeeding Senator Inhofe, who's retired now. So a new member has been chosen from that district. Okay. I haven't changed that in the class notes. The class notes were written a few weeks ago. The new members will not be taking office until January. But if you are from eastern Oklahoma, your member of the House will have changed from what's shown in the class notes. From there, we go on to talk about, we talk a bit about how members are elected, which has a good deal to do with how they do their jobs, how they look at their jobs. We concentrate mostly on elections for the House of Representatives there. We move on to talk about two aspects of the career of a member of Congress, in Washington and at home, as they say. By the member's career at home, we mean the member's relations with his or her constituents. And there are a number of things that they do, you might say, to curry favor with their constituents because of the pressure that they are under to get reelected every 2 years in the case of members of the House of Representatives. Then we go on to talk about how Congress works in Washington, D.C., the process by which a bill becomes law, the leadership positions, such as the Speaker of the House, which will be changing now. The class notes show Representative Pelosi, but she will be stepping down. It's not clear yet who will succeed her. And we discuss the process by which a bill becomes law, although we mentioned that that process of regular order often is superseded these days. Okay, next week we'll try to say a bit about what we talk about at the very end of the class notes for Lecture 8. We'll save that for next time, for Unit 8. And we'll try to say a bit to wind up the course when we talk to you once again a week from now at this time. Please contact me about term papers, about any makeup work, or any questions, issues, or problems that come up through the course website or at david.cole@opsu.edu. And we'll be talking to you one last time about a week from now at this time.